Good morning. Thank you for being here with us today. Please have a pen and paper ready because you will engage in activity just like the ones in our experiments. Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part the day I rouge.
In this poem, Robert Frost's day takes a positive turn because of a crow and dust of snow. Think of your past few days or week and write down one example of a crow or dust of snow in your life. Write whatever comes to mind, whether it's a whole poem or one word. In 30 seconds, someone will be given the opportunity to share. Would anyone like to share?
Sure, I'll share. Thinking about this poem reminded me of when I was just walking down my sidewalk the other day, but my neighbor's dog Charlie was outside and I got to meet him and learn about him, and he was so sweet. So it was a nice surprise to an everyday routine.
Thank you for sharing.
Someone told us that sometimes the smallest thing can make the biggest difference in how you go about your day, as we hope this activity is done for you. And that was exactly our goal in this project, to create a positive, creative outlet for students during the trying times of the pandemic. My name is Dominica.
I'm Mariella.
And my name is Tara. This is our project on creative writing and teens mood. So we kind of started this project with a solution instead of an issue. We all love art, and Marielle and I were specifically passionate about creative writing. But we wanted it to be more than a fun hobby, so we thought that it could be valuable for other teens. For one, it's an accessible art form. You don't need a dance studio or a grand piano. All you need is a place to write. Creative writing can promote creative thinking, self-expression, and self-confidence, and decrease depression, stress, and negative mood. Creative writing can also address key components of adolescent development like social emotional learning, or SEL, by connecting students to their emotions and experiences. Combined, these benefits can help students in their emotional and academic life. We know they are important, but we didn't know how we could apply these benefits to a quality of life issue until the pandemic rolled around.
With the pandemic, teens were experiencing a lot more stress and depression and anxiety, and the means by which they cope with some of these issues were becoming unavailable. So, like, school shows were becoming unavailable, art clubs, musical performances, everything was discontinued. And even so, when you're stuck at home, there's still one thing that all teens can do, which is creative writing. And we have used creative writing as an outlet to go through the challenges of our own lives, and we hope to extend this outlet to others so that they can benefit from it as well during the challenges of the pandemic.
In addition to the pandemic and mental health, we found another issue. Teens do not have enough opportunities to engage in creative outlets like writing because arts education has been in decline since before the pandemic. Government policies like the No Child Left Behind Act and the Common Core Standards Act put more emphasis on English and math. And so funding and resources in schools are redistributed from arts programs towards helping students improve in those tested subject areas. Creative writing is more a part of English language arts, and in this setting, 2 out of the 42 ELA standards address creative writing, and when it is used in class, it's usually treated as a break from the normal school curriculum. So creative writing is overlooked in arts programs and ELA.
Despite it being overlooked, we have research that shows that having the opportunity for creative writing can be beneficial for teens. So we formulated the research question, can creative writing change the mood of teens during the COVID-19 pandemic? And we hypothesized that creative writing can, in fact, improve teens' mood during the pandemic.
To start our experiment, we had our participants respond to a pre-survey that assessed their prior experience with creative writing and their self-confidence in writing skills. Then, over the course of 3 consecutive classes, we had them respond to 3 creative writing prompts that we created. The first was, Write about a time in your life when you've experienced one of these emotions. Then create a comic like Nathan Pyle's Strange Planet comics. And finally, describe what someone would see on a journey through your dream world.
Before starting each prompt, the students are asked to rate their current mood on an emoji scale. After 5 minutes of writing, students answer 3 more questions on the same Google form pertaining to completion and mood. Participants took a post-survey on the final day of testing, which evaluated the effect of the creative writing prompts and participants' opinions on school arts programs.
Based on the data of our 78 participants, most students hardly ever or never engaged in creative writing regardless of the pandemic, and we think that this means that they never had an opportunity to engage in creative writing. And on the mini surveys, we see that there's a significant improvement in mood for all 3 prompts. And if you look at the picture on the bottom, most participants' mood changed from a 3 to a 5 or from a 4 to a 5. The most significant change, however, occurred from a 2 to a 5, and it only happened 5 times in the dream prompt, which is also the most favorite prompt. And we think it's the most favorite and we think it is the most favorite because it's fantastical writing. And what fantastical writing does is it allows you to have control over this world where you can solve all of your problems.
The second favorite prompt was the comic prompt, even though it had the least improved mood. We think it would have been more effective in a sharing environment because it's about making a joke and humor is social. The least favorite prompt was the word prompt, and it had the highest risk for a worsened mood because participants could recall negative memories or happy memories with someone that is absent from their life.
Interestingly, the change in writing skill was statistically significant, whereas self-confidence wasn't. We believe that as they were both long-term benefits, they would not improve over the course of a 2-week experiment. We were also surprised because writing skill was not a direct benefit mentioned in previous research. However, writing skill did improve. Even though participants only wrote for 5 minutes, we believe that having an opportunity to explore creative writing allowed them to realize that they were better writers than they previously thought.
I want to add on to what Tara said, and personally, I'm not a writer. And over the course of this entire project, from making the prompts to testing the prompts to writing this entire proposal, I figured out, I found my true potential as a writer, and I was sometimes really pleasantly surprised by the things I could write and how I could word things very nicely, and it was very pleasant.
In addition to improved mood, the majority of participants agreed that completing the prompts helped them take their mind off their worries. In addition, many also agreed that this activity helped them learn more about themselves and gave them a sense of accomplishment, but many were unsure of or disagreed with these effects. We think this is because of limitations in our experiment. For one, the prompts we ended up choosing were not about self-discovery, so they wouldn't have learned about themselves. And because of time, participants did not have the chance to complete finished products, so they wouldn't have felt very accomplished.
To help with some of our implementation ideas, we asked students several questions, and one of them was how important is creative writing in a school setting? And most believed that it was at least moderately important to have in a school setting. And then on implementing arts classes, most believed that the school should focus on implementing more arts classes. And then we also asked them about a sharing platform and whether they would like to share their projects with other people. And many students voted against this idea, so we decided not to go through with the plan.
Based on these results, we designed a prompt booklet of 19 imaginative and self-reflective prompts which aim to improve the mood and the writing skill of students. We tried to make them as different as possible to cater to our audience and their unique experiences. So what have we done with these prompts? We shared our prompts with the teachers in our school and in New York Public Library. In schools, our prompts are meant to be used as optional, non-graded activities. Our prompts have been used as activities in sophomore English classes, AP English classes, and by connecting with a QLI mentor, he shared our prompts with his high school in the Bronx.
We also created this implementation guide that would help teachers implement our creative writing ideas into classes. So it basically includes steps for our activity, an introduction to us and our study, possible uses for the prompt, and then instructions that the teachers can read to their students so that they can more easily answer these prompts. And then also just questions for the teachers and questions that the teachers can ask their students, and then questions that students can individually respond to. And these questions are basically like in the form, like in a Google form, just asking for feedback and advice and like things that they like, things they didn't like, so we can continue improving our prompts.
We're also currently working with a junior at our school who's creating a journal of poetry written by teens about mental health for her Gold Scout Gold Award. For this project, we're creating prompts about hope and healing to be used as activities in her magazine. We also created a section in our school's LibGuide, which is a platform that contains resources relevant to our CERT projects. Our LibGuide has our prompts from other reputable sources, and educational TED-Ed videos about storytelling and writing.
For the future, we are planning on using our prompts as activity for our school's Enrichment Week, which will take place before the end of the school year. Additionally, the principal of our school suggested that once we get back to in-person school next year, we can host 5-minute group writing sessions after school, open to anyone. We are attempting to revitalize the Creative Writing Club and the Literary Magazine.
For next year, we also want to create prompts that complement our English teachers' curriculums, so that because English curriculums are so time sensitive, we wanted to find a way that students can meet the criteria for ELA and also participate in creative writing. So we want to do this in the form of a project-based learning assignment. And we also wanted to implement our creative writing activities into health classes as a social emotional learning activity, SEL. And we formulated these ideas in collaboration with our assistant principal of English and our health teacher mentor.
We also contacted the manager of youth literacy programs at the New York Public Library, who helped us throughout our project, about incorporating our prompts into the YA summer programs at the library. She is interested in this idea, and we're currently working on how to do it.
As shown by the chart, teens would benefit because of reduced costs for mental health treatment. Administrators would not need to buy SEL materials.
However, our LibGuide is funded by a state grant. Still, the main cost of our project is time. We take our time to write our prompt booklets,
and teachers will take their time to administer the prompts and grade the project-based learning assignments.
In summary, our research showed that creative writing, even for only 5 minutes, can improve the mood of teens, their perceptions of their writing skills, and help them take their mind off their worries. Creative writing is an accessible and powerful outlet for teens who believe that it is important in a school setting and want more opportunities to engage in the arts in school.
Thus, we are focusing our implementation on incorporating creative writing into the school curriculum, and we want to end this presentation by giving a closer look as to how that's going. Remember that prompt you responded to earlier? Well, these are the dust of snow of students at our school who responded to it in English class.
These are all anonymous. So for one person, their dust of snow was coffee. And they said that whenever they're having a rough day, good coffee will always make them feel better. And another person said that the snow corresponds to how they experience tough situations as they move through adolescence.
One person said their crow would be a person and their dust of snow would be a gentle hug.
Some people gave feedback on the prompt itself. Collectively, these students agreed that the prompts improved their writing skills and their mood because they were able to write what was directly on their mind and reflect on what makes them happy.
Based on these responses, you can see that the students really got invested in these activities to the point where they were able to take their mind off class and focus on something that made them happy, which is where the improved mood comes from. Our goal was to use creative writing to give teens an outlet during the trying times of the pandemic. And even if it's only 5 minutes in class, our study proves that 5 minutes is enough to improve mood, and maybe like in the poem, change the entire course of someone's day.
Creative writing is a small change that makes a big difference. Thank you for listening to our presentation.